Caught in the birdcage effect? Learn how to break free and control it. Did you ever buy something that you didn't really need just because you already owned part of the collection? If so, you might have experienced the birdcage effect. A great example of this is the story of an American psychologist, William James, and his friend Carlson. James bet Carlson that he would end up keeping a pet bird, even though Carlson had no interest in having one. On Carlson's birthday, James bought him a beautiful birdcage as a gift. At first, Carlson had no plans to use the cage. But here's where it gets interesting. To Carlson's frustration, every time his friends visited and saw the empty birdcage, they would ask about it. In the end, Carlson got tired of explaining and bought a bird exactly as James had predicted. This story shows how tricky the birdcage effect can be. It can lead people to do things to justify their previous actions, even if it's not actually necessary. For example, someone might receive a pair of winter boots as a gift. Then they would feel the need to buy a matching coat and pants to complete the outfit.
Hey, hello, and welcome back to English for You. I'm Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
So, Elsie, have you ever bought something you didn't really need just because you already had part of it?
Oh, I definitely have. I once bought a matching scarf to go with the sweater I already owned. It wasn't really necessary, but it felt like I had to complete the set.
Sounds like, actually, you might have fallen into what's called the birdcage effect.
Birdcage effect? That's a new one for me.
Well, today, everyone, we're going to dive into how this sneaky effect can lead us to buy things we don't need and how we can break free from it. Are you ready? Let's get started. Caught in the birdcage effect. Learn how to break free and control it.
免费的最贵，小心鸟笼效应，让你买下不必要的物品。
Our article starts off by saying, did you ever buy something that you didn't really need just because you already owned part of the collection? There, everyone, we see the noun collection. It's a group of objects, often of the same sort, that have been collected. So an example sentence using this word, we could say, he has a large collection of stamps from different countries.
Collection 这个名词是收集品或是收藏品。A collection of something， 好，那就是某物的收集收藏。那动词的话呢是 collect, C-O-L-L-E-C-T。所以课文问我们啊，你曾经买过一些你并不真的需要的东西，只因为你已经拥有了这个收藏的一部分吗？
Continuing, if so, you might have experienced the birdcage effect.
OK， 那这边看到我们今天的 Language in Focus, let's take a look. 今天的 Language in Focus 我们要讲到的是过去推测语气。情态助动词 might, may 或是 could 搭配原形动词的时候，能表示对现在或是未来事件的推测。那我们要搭配 have 加上一个过去分词，就可以表示对过去事件的推测。所以呢，在课文当中，我们假设读者曾经有经历过文中叙述的情况，过去可能就已经经历过鸟笼效应了。那因为是关于过去的推测，所以我们后面接的是 have 加上过去分词。给同学们一个例句咯。John isn't answering his phone. He might have left it at home. John 没有接电话，那他可能把手机忘在家里面了。这个是对过去做一个推测。那如果我们要表示对过去事实的肯定推测，好，就是过去肯定一定如何如何，我们就用到助动词 must 后面加上 have 以及一个过去分词。For example, the kitchen is messy. They must have been cooking dinner. 厨房很乱，他们当时一定是在做晚餐。So Adam, tell us more about this effect.
Okay, will do. It says a great example of this is the story of an American psychologist, William James, and his friend Carlson.
Psychologist 指的就是心理学家，所以一个很好的例子是美国心理学家 William James 和他的朋友 Carlson 之间的故事。
So how does this play out? Well, we learn in our article, it says, James bet Carlson that he would end up keeping a pet bird even though Carlson had no interest in having one. There, everyone, we see the verb bet. Bet is to risk something, usually money, on the outcome of a future event. So an example sentence using bet, we could say, he bet me $10 that his team would win the game. We also see the phrase in that sentence, end up plus verb ing, adjective, or preposition. That is, to finally be in a particular place or situation after a series of events.
好，整理一下，第一个 bet， 好，这个字三态同形，指的是打赌。bet 后面加上人，加上 that， 以及一个子句，那就是与某人打赌某事会发生。那另外呢，片语 end up 后面呢有三种接续下去的方式，第一个是 VING， 第二个是形容词，第三个是介系词片语，可以带出最后的情况。那我们的 William James 和他的朋友 Carlson， 他们就打赌说他最终会养一只宠物鸟，即使 Carlson 并不想养鸟。
So that's a pretty risky bet, right? Your friend James, the psychologist William James, says, Hey, Carlson, I bet you're going to have a bird even though you don't want one.
Yeah, I don't want a bird.
Well, let's find out what happens. It says, on Carlson's birthday, James bought him a beautiful birdcage as a gift.
Carlson 的生日那天James 就送给他一个漂亮的鸟笼作为礼物。
And this is where it gets interesting.
Okay, so I don't have a bird, but you just, gave me a gift.
Yeah, a cage. A bird cage.
Bird cage.
Exactly. And that's why it kind of gets interesting because it says, at first, Carlson had no plans to use the cage. But here's where it gets interesting.
OK, 所以起初呢 Carlson 并没有打算要使用这个鸟笼，因为他没有养鸟但是事情就开始变得有趣了。
To Carlson's frustration, every time his friends visited and saw the empty birdcage, they would ask about it.
To Carlson's frustration, frustration 这个名词指的是挫折或是挫折感。那如果你要用形容词的话，你可以说 somebody feels frustrated， 或者是 be 动词带出 frustrated。那 frustrated 这个形容词呢，就是感到挫折的，或者是用另外一种形容词 frustrating。Something is frustrating， 那就是某事令人觉得挫折。所以每当 Carlson 的朋友来访的时候，都会看到这个空荡荡的鸟笼，他们就会询问 Carlson 关于鸟笼的事情。Why do you have a bird cage? You don't have a bird. What's going on, Carlson?
Right. It's like having a dog cage or a dog house in your house and saying, we don't have a dog. It's kind of strange, right? So continuing with our article, it says, in the end, Carlson got tired of explaining and bought a bird exactly as James had predicted. So there we see the phrase in the end, which means finally, after everything has been considered or after all events have occurred. So an example sentence using this phrase, we could say, in the end, they decided to move to a different city. Also in that sentence, we see the phrase get or be verb tired of something or somebody. So that is to become bored, annoyed, or uninterested in something or someone after doing it or being around it for a long time. Some examples we could use would be, he was getting tired of working at the same job every day. Or you could say, I'm tired of hearing the same song over and over again.
OK, 一样整理一下，我们首先看到的片语 in the end 带出最后的状况， 很常就放在一个句子的句首逗点之后带出最后的结果。那再来是 tired of 的用法，前面你可以用 get 这个动词 get tired of， 或是 be tired of， 也就是用 be 动词带出来。后方啊，如果有动作的话，要记得用动名词 VING， 如果只是个名词，也可以直接放上去。那名词的话，可以是个事物或是人，代表就是对点点点感到厌倦或是厌烦。然后呢，我们还接着看到了一个副词是 exactly。Yeah,
exactly is an adverb. It's used to emphasize that something is the same or different. For an example, we could say, That's exactly what I meant when I said she should be careful. Or, the two paintings are exactly the same in size and in color.
Exactly 这个副词就是完全或是全然。那后面呢，还有一个动词就是 predict， 它代表的是预测。那在课文当中呢，我们用的是 as James had predicted， 我们用到过去完成式 had predicted， 因为是 James 之前老早就预测的事情。所以课文讲到这边啊，在说的是最后 Carson 他就厌倦了解释，因为每次朋友来的时候，他都要解释一遍我没有鸟，但是呢，那个我的好朋友送我一个鸟笼，所以两笼就放在那边。所以就这样子一直解释之后，他厌倦了，那就是像 James 预测那样买了一只鸟。
So James is kind of tricky about tricking Carlson, right?
Yeah, but I don't get why James wanted Carlson to have a bird that bad.
Because it's a psychological test, I believe. If you buy a cage, you're bound to put something maybe in it. And that's where our article leads us to. It says, this story shows how tricky the bird cage effect can be. There we see the adjective tricky, which is difficult to do or deal with often because it involves dealing with complex or complicated details. So an example we could use using tricky would be, the exam was tricky with so many challenging questions. Or, fixing the computer was tricky, but I managed to do it.
Tricky 这个形容词是棘手的、不好应付的，也就是 not easy、difficult 或者是 hard 你可以用这些字来说。那这个故事呢，就展示了鸟笼效应的棘手之处。
Continuing with our article, it says, it can lead people to do things to justify their previous actions, even if it's not actually necessary. There we see the word previous, and that refers to something that happened or existed before the time you are talking about. So an example sentence, we could say, the movie was much better than the previous one. We also see the phrase even if, and that is used to introduce a situation that is true but does not change the results of the outcome. So an example with that we could say would be, she will go to the party even if it rains.
Even if 指的是尽管虽然，那 previous 这个形容词是先前的。另外呢，在这个句子当中还有一个动词是 justify， 代表的是证明点点点是正当的，或是作为点点点的正当理由。鸟笼效应会让人为了证明自己之前的行为是正当的，即使不是真的需要，也会去做一些事情。
And finally, our article closes off by saying, for example, someone might receive a pair of winter boots as a gift. Then they would feel the need to buy a matching coat and pants to complete the outfit. There we see the noun boot, which is a type of sturdy footwear that covers the ankle or part of the lower leg. So an example sentence would be, the hiker put on his boots before starting the long walk in the mountains. We also see the phrase feel the need to verb, which is to have a strong desire or necessity to do something. An example sentence using that, after a long day at work, I feel the need to relax and watch a movie.
Or sometimes I feel the need to go for a walk to clear my mind.
Yeah.
Feel the need to do something. 就是觉得需要做某事。 那另外 boot 是名词靴子 outfit 那就是全套的服装。所以课文最后给了我们一个 example， 他说例如某人收到一双冬季靴子作为礼物的时候，他们接着可能会觉得需要再买一个搭配的外套啦，还有裤子来完成这套服装。 This is exactly like what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
好，那各位同学们喜欢今天的节目吗？赶快按赞追踪我们的 YouTube channel 还有 Facebook， 不要忘记开启小铃铛，掌握第一手的英文学习内容哦。那现在就到我们 For You Chat 的部分了。 So here's the For You Chat question.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time you've experienced the birdcage effect?Share your experience.
Okay. Well, you shared your experience in the beginning with saying that you bought a sweater and then you had to complete the set. Something like that. I remember I bought a blender and then I felt like I had to get all the fancy cups and the smoothie ingredients to go with it. And then, things kind of got out of hand and I didn't need all that stuff.Okay,
so now I want another cat, but you don't. So what can I do to make you want to have another cat?
Well, maybe not have more cat food laying around the house, or maybe not have a cat cage or something like that.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today, you guys. Thanks for listening. My name's Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review. Collection. Aaron has a collection of foreign coins that he has gathered during his trips over the years. Bet. Katie bet Ben that the home team would win the baseball game by at least 2 points. Whoever guessed correctly would get a prize. Exactly. The dinner wasn't exactly what Jane wanted. She preferred hamburgers to pizza. Tricky. Jack thought the puzzle was really tricky because it required good math skills, which he doesn't have. Previous. Mark likes his current job as an artist more than he liked his previous job as a waiter. Boot. I wear my boots when I walk in the snow so my feet don't get wet.
智慧小补帖
Psychologist. Frustration. Predict. Justify. Outfit.